Have you heard the news about the June 2025 SASSA grant changes? Because if you haven't, you could be walking straight into a financial trap without even knowing it. And let me be very honest with you, what's coming in June is not just a small update or a quiet policy shift. It's a full-on change that could dramatically affect how much you receive and when you receive it. And if you miss even one of these changes, you might lose out on money that rightfully belongs to you. For millions of SASSA beneficiaries across South Africa, June was supposed to be just another payment month. But this time, something different is happening. New rules, new limits, and yes, potentially, new amounts. And here's the kicker, these changes aren't being shouted from the rooftops. They're quietly being rolled out, and many seniors and low-income families will only find out after it's too late. That's why this video is not just important, it's urgent. Now, I want to speak to you directly. If you're relying on your SASSA grant for daily needs, medical bills, transport, food, or simply to survive, this video was made for you. Because inside, I'll walk you through exactly what's changing, how it could affect your monthly income, and what steps you need to take right now to stay protected. So please, don't click away. This isn't just information, it's your peace of mind. If you're a parent, a pensioner, a person with a disability, or someone who simply cares about their financial future, you need to stay with me until the very end. And before we dive in, do me a small favor, hit the like button if you want to stay informed, subscribe to the channel so you never miss another update, and leave a comment below with your thoughts or questions. We're here for you, and we'll reply. Now, let's get straight into what's really happening with the SASSA grant in June 2025. So, let's break this down together, because what's changing in June 2025 could have a real, direct impact on your monthly budget, your planning, and even your peace of mind. The first thing you need to understand is that the South African Social Security Agency, or SASSA, has confirmed a shift not only in how much will be paid out in certain categories, but also in how the payment system is being managed from this point forward. For years, many grant beneficiaries have grown used to a pattern, a routine that helped them organize their lives. The dates were consistent, the communication was clear, and most people could budget with some level of predictability. But now, with this new system, we are seeing more than just a number change. We are seeing an evolution in policy, and it has people talking from Cape Town to Limpopo. You might be thinking, okay, but does this really affect me? The answer, if you receive any form of SASSA grant, is yes. Whether you're a senior citizen relying on your old age grant, a parent receiving a child support grant, a person with a disability who depends on the disability grant, or even someone who supports others through the foster care grant, these changes are part of a much broader national strategy. And while some of these adjustments might eventually lead to better systems and more efficient payouts, the transition period is what we all need to watch out for. Because it's during this transition that confusion can happen. People might miss payments, dates could shift, and those who aren't well informed might miss out entirely. What's been particularly concerning to many is the quietness of these announcements. These aren't being splashed across every billboard or repeated hourly on the radio. In many cases, people are hearing it by word of mouth, or from community WhatsApp groups, which can lead to confusion or even misinformation. That's why it's so important that we clarify things right here and now. The June 2025 changes are real. They're happening. And if you're not paying attention, you might find yourself asking, where's my money, when it doesn't come through on the date you expected. But don't worry, we're going to walk you through everything you need to know. Now, let's talk about the amount. Yes, there are increases coming. And yes, some grants could go up to as much as a 5,000 in specific situations. But before we celebrate, let's be realistic. Not every grant will jump to that number. The highest increases are expected to be tied to particular conditions, such as a combination of grants or newly assessed financial vulnerabilities. For instance, some beneficiaries who qualify for both the old age grant and a supplementary income benefit may see a bigger payout. Others who have been re-evaluated under the updated criteria may now fall into a higher grant category. The government is making an effort to match the cost of living increases that South Africans have been facing over the last few years, especially with rising food prices, electricity tariffs, and transport costs eating deeper into the average household budget. But here's something many aren't prepared for: along with these increases come new eligibility checks. The updated SASSA system includes a more thorough vetting process to confirm who still qualifies for which grants, and under what conditions. This has been met with mixed reactions. On one hand, some see it as a way to protect the integrity of the system and prevent fraud. On the other hand, there are genuine fears that some deserving recipients may be removed or delayed because of technicalities or outdated records. And that's why it's so important for every beneficiary to double-check their information, update their documentation if needed, and make sure their bank details are current. In this new era of digital verification, a small mismatch in your records could delay your payment, not because you did something wrong, but because the system now requires more precision. That brings us to one of the most important issues, timing. June 2025 will not only bring new amounts but potentially new payout schedules. SASSA has indicated a possible shift in how and when grants are disbursed, aiming to reduce queues at payment points and improve digital delivery. While this sounds great in theory, we all know the real-world challenges. Many elderly beneficiaries rely on going in person, speaking directly to someone, and receiving their funds in cash or via SASSA cards. So the government has a big task ahead of them: modernize the system without alienating or confusing the very people it's meant to serve. It's a fine balance, and only time will tell if they get it right. In the meantime, communities across South Africa are bracing themselves. Some are optimistic, hoping the changes will finally bring dignity and reliability to a system that has long struggled with backlogs and inconsistencies. Others are anxious, unsure of how these adjustments will impact them directly. That's why staying informed is more critical now than ever before. Don't wait for rumors to reach you, get the facts early, understand what applies to your situation, and don't hesitate to ask questions or visit your local SASSA office if something seems unclear. There's also another layer to all of this, the human side. Behind every SASSA grant is a real person, with a real story, real struggles, and very real dreams. Whether it's a grandmother raising 3 grandchildren on her own, a father who lost his job and now depends on the child support grant, or a young adult with a disability navigating daily challenges, the grant system is a lifeline. And every change, no matter how small on paper, sends ripples through these lives. That's why we must hold those in charge accountable. When policies are rolled out, they must come with clear explanations, transparent timelines, and real support systems to help people adapt. Unfortunately, this doesn't always happen, which is why we are here, creating this video, sharing this message, and standing with you to make sure your voice is heard. Looking ahead, we also need to prepare for the long term. June 2025 might be the beginning of a new chapter, but it won't be the last time the system changes. As elections approach, budgets shift, and economic pressures rise, the grant landscape may continue to evolve. So we encourage you to become your own advocate. Keep track of your documents. Save a little when you can. Talk to others in your community and form networks of support. When one person understands the changes and shares that knowledge, the entire community becomes stronger. That's how we protect ourselves, not just from confusion, but from being left behind. We also want to acknowledge the emotions many of you are feeling right now. It's not just about money, it's about dignity, security, and the ability to live without fear of going hungry or being unable to pay for medication. Every grant delay or miscommunication brings stress, and no one deserves to live with that kind of uncertainty. That's why these changes in June 2025 are so significant. They represent more than just a line item in the national budget, they represent the well-being of millions of South Africans. And while the government plays its role, so do we. That's why we'll keep bringing you the updates, breaking down the official statements into plain, easy-to-understand language, and answering the questions that matter most to you. If a new form is required, we'll explain how to fill it out. If payment dates change, we'll give you the new schedule. If there's a hotline to call or an online update tool, we'll walk you through the steps. Because no one should have to navigate the system alone, not when the stakes are this high. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, let's take a breath and reflect. Yes, the changes are big. Yes, they may cause confusion at first, but knowledge is power. And you now have the information you need to face these updates with confidence, not fear. June 2025 is around the corner, and whether you're getting ready for your first grant or your 100th, one thing is clear: staying informed is your strongest tool. You've made it this far, and you've done it with strength and resilience. Don't let a few policy shifts knock you down. Let them make you stronger. Before you go, please make sure you've hit the like button, because if this video helped you, it might help someone else too. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because we're not done. More updates are coming, and you deserve to know the truth before anyone else. And drop a comment below: have you received your June 2025 payment yet? Have you noticed any changes? What's your experience been like so far? Your voice matters, and we're here to listen. Until next time, take care of yourself and your loved ones. We'll see you soon with more updates, because your future, your grant, and your dignity matter.